Hello everybody and welcome into the Asphalt Outlaws Truck Series live from Auto Club. We are in Hollywood and we are about to see some superstar racing here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Goes to Racing Network. Drivers down in the pits getting the trucks ready to roll off for the first time here tonight. So with that, let's jump right into your starting grid here on the night. Sitting on pole, it's the 11 truck, Eric Hegdahl for Mo Power Racing. Braden Avila will roll off second on his outside. David Traylor back in third. Keith Prince in fourth. It's Mark Beverly rounding out the top five. He's got Isaac Smallwood to his outside in sixth. John Shileno, good qualifying effort for him tonight. He will roll off seventh. Will Rainwell to his outside in eighth. Michael Miller back in ninth, and Bill Hales rounding out your top 10. Row number 6, Brody Benty in the 63, alongside Michael Newman. First race that he's got his cast off tonight, so looking to see if the 12 can maybe get himself to victory lane tonight. Going to be one of those drivers to keep an eye on. Back in row number 7, it's Clinton Woodby and Colton Hardy. Row number 8 is Evan Schilling, followed by Robert Dudley. 17th is going to roll off Jesse Calloway in the 4 truck. Haas Beverly back in 18th. Jesse Wise 19th, and Dennis Steele rounding out your top 20. Andrew Hansley starts 21st. Jay Stinson in 22nd. Dylan Paul is 23rd with Nicholas Lawrence in 24th. Joe Yakes, Kevin Winker making up row 13. It's Rick LePage in 27th with Jonathan Herbert in 28th and Tyler Beverly in 29th. Lance Thompson rounds out your top 30, and it's Thomas Siso rounding out the field tonight. He will start 31st. And again, one of the drivers that's still a little bit new, just a couple races under the belt, so we'll see what he can do here tonight. Quick look at your race info. 79 degrees outside, 48% humidity. Clear skies, winds at 4 miles an hour. It's the winning bid 210 here in the Craftsman Truck Series. 105 laps to scheduled distance, 95% fuel, 4 sets of tires, 1 fast pair fixed setups. There is a stage break on lap 40. 3 green light checkers if we need them. 2 miles in length is Auto Club at 80 degrees, your starting track temp here tonight. Here we go for the first time in Hollywood on the night. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Auto Club. As they cross the stripe to complete lap 1, it is going to go to Eric Hegdahl in the 11 truck, but a lot of action up front, and Auto Club is a big 2-mile oval, so we're going to see a lot of drafting, and especially on these restarts. Similar racing to what you would expect at a track like Daytona or Talladega. How about right now, further back, 3 wide here, John Shileno just in front of this mess, but it was the 92 machine of Clinton Woodby, who you saw trying to split the middle. He's going to get a little bit of help in his endeavor here to the front from Michael Newman, one of the guys that we have on the driver cam here tonight. He took a look to the middle with Woodby. In fact, they are still committing to that lane, trying everything to get it to work. Nothing doing just yet, but as they fan out down the wide front straightaway, this is where you really make the bump drafting happen. Problem is that outside still has a lot of help. The 63 out there of Brody Benty, he's going to fade a little bit now as they work into turn number 1. But back up front, the single file starting to take shape now is actually Eric Hegdahl. Looks like he's lost a position to Braden Avila. And that is 2 of the Mo-Power Racing drivers currently sitting 1-2. Back in the 3rd spot is Isaac Smallwood. Different scheme than we're used to seeing for him here on the night. Just behind him, how about Keith Prince, David Traylor? No surprise to see those 2 up in the top 5, and Will Rainwell. He's knocking on the door, breaking into the top 5 as well here early. Again, with that stage break on lap 40, we don't believe that they're quite going to be able to make the entirety of this stint under a fuel run. They should have to stop at least once here for fuel, expected to go probably right around 34 to 36 laps is the fuel window we have, at least from one of the admins, series owner Mark Beverly. We'll see if that's the case. And speaking of Mark Beverly, started up in a pretty good position, well inside the top 10, and has remained there for the moment, but fallen a couple spots now back to 7th. And that currently is the 3rd highest running Ford in the field. But your biggest mover at the moment appears to be Clinton Woodby, who's up 5, along with Joe Yakes, who's up 6th, and Tyler Beverly, who is up 5 as well. So a couple guys trying to take advantage of the fresh tires, cool track temp, to see if they can pick up some spots early. But Avila here trying to stretch it out just a little bit. Again, you can get pretty good momentum down that front straightaway with a draft. Ooh, the 5 of Smallwood's going to go around trying to save it. Overcorrects, he'll slide up, tags the outside wall. Everybody trying to miss him. It looks like they all do. Man, that was a close call, but Isaac Smallwood's going to get away with one. Maybe not so much get away with one, as it looks like he does have some significant left front damage right there. Not sure how he got it, but yeah, that whole left front quarter panel is torn off. So he's going to have to bring it down to the pits. This may be his 1 fast spare gone in the first 10 laps of a truck that had a lot of speed in qualifying and a lot of short run speed here early. Question is, where does this all go wrong? Here's the first view here. In fact, I'm going to back this up. TV3. Oh, man. Really, really interesting look for Smallwood right there as they get into the corner. Couldn't tell if he got any help from there. Oh, he does. That's Keith Prince in the 3 just to his inside. Maybe getting into the corner a little too deep. Tags the 5 of Smallwood, and then as he gets down the track, looks like he gets tagged by, I believe that was Will Rainwell. And it's going to slide back up. Gives a shot to the outside safer barrier before he's able to roll back down. And boy, when I'm telling you he was lucky to not get T-boned, boy, was it close. But I want to go back and take a little bit of a different shot of this, see if we can actually catch the contact as it happens. So we're going to go to the chopper one more time here. And watch the 3 of Keith Prince as they start to get into the corner here. Looks like, I mean, just 2 guys going for the same piece of real estate. But yeah, it looks like Keith Prince maybe not expecting the 5 to turn down quite that quick. I mean, looked to me like Smallwood was taking pretty similar to what the racing line would be right there. And maybe Prince just getting in a little bit too hot into the corner and gets Smallwood out of shape. It's a shame that his actual left front did pop off because the contact did not look that significant with Will Rainwell. But when you rip off one of the body panels on these race trucks, it does a ton of damage and costs you a lot of speed. So he'll have to get that repaired. Actually, they didn't even make contact. There was some netcode right there on that secondary impact. But he's certainly going to make some contact here as he gets up into that outside safer barrier. And watch how close this gets for a couple of guys. Man, looks like Brody Benty in the 63 along with Kevin Winker just sneaking by. And it's going to get even closer here as a couple other guys try to dive low at the last second to miss him. Luckily, they all do. But definitely not the way that Isaac Smallwood wanted to see his race start after a lot of promise in qualifying here to begin the night. So as we go back live up front, it is Michael Newman being scored as your leader, and that's because we had some pit strategy come into play here. Not a ton of laps ticked off, but Auto Club, very abrasive racetrack, and it brought a ton of drivers down the pits to take 4 tires, fill it up with fuel, and I think the main reason we're seeing that is because now you're good to go the rest of the way for the stage, so no more scheduled pit stops here, at least until after that caution that we are going to get on lap 40 to wrap up stage number 1. And so now that Michael Newman takes over the lead, it pushes Kevin Winker up to second and a total of 24 positions positive in the positive direction rather from where he started. Driver out of Slinger, Wisconsin, looking good early. Braden Avila, who was leading just before we got that first caution, now back rounding out the podium. Eric Hegdahl 4th. David Traylor and Keith Prince 5th and 6th. Will Rainwell in 7th after what looked like a little bit of contact, but doesn't seem to have affected his truck. And there's a 13 and Mark Beverly. Got a new paint scheme on his truck tonight as well. It's a good looking Ford F-150 for series owner. Clinton would be back here in the 92. He's got the Nirjuana sponsor on the front. And the paint scheme itself made by Sonic Graphics Design, secondary sponsor. And then can't forget about the sponsor of tonight, the winning bid. For the winning bid 210, make sure you go check them out. They got all your Diecast trading cards that you could need. By the way, you like the racing you're seeing tonight? I know we got a lot of race fans out there, but if we got any guys that are looking to be a driver in the series, guys or gals, we do have the description for the Discord, or excuse me, the link to the Discord in the description for the video, so make sure you check that out. Get in here, join some of the great racing we see at tracks like Auto Club. We weren't here last week, but you got to believe the racing was just as good as it's been every week up until this point. And now back at one of my favorite tracks in all of the circuits that we see in all of motorsports, but much less the schedule that we see this season. Auto Club, very unique track. The only track really that you can compare it to is Michigan, which we'll see later in the season. But I mean, a 2-mile, very abrasive, very bumpy racetrack, but high speeds, well over 180 miles an hour. Pushes these guys to the test. A lot of drafts early, but you got to save tires because you're going to need them later. Just a lot of different factors that makes this kind of racing some of the best racing that we see in the truck series. So as the field lines back up, rolls through turns 3 and 4, looking for the green flag for the first restart here on the night. The field in the hands of Michael Newman and Kevin Winker. We've seen how dangerous Winker's been all season. When you give him some clean air and some confidence, he's got both of those things right now. We'll see what he can make happen. Here we go, back into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. 9 laps completed, Auto Club. Good initial start as Winker quickly going to jump down in line behind Michael Newman. Almost for a minute there looked like there might have been a little coordination, but I think that was just how things got sorted out. Newman quickly jumps back down to the bottom through 1 and 2. He'll get the advantage on exit, but watch out for Kevin Winker. Does he have any sort of a run? Nothing doing for him as Braden Avila puts the loud pedal down on exit. Gets a run actually on the inside. He is looking for first here as they dive into turn number 3. And Avila's got a little bit more grip than Newman, a little bit fresher tires. What can he make happen right here? And he's trying to complete the slide job. Couldn't quite get it done there, but he's going to get some drafting help here from Eric Hegdahl. The top 2 tandem is going to be Newman and Winker. And everybody else out back, it's a mad scatter to see who can get what positions as the Hornet's Nest continues to thicken. And actually, the further back you get, this restart is a little bit more tame than what we saw on the first restart. But up front, they are still going for it as it looks like this time now. Off of turn number 2, Avila still not quite able to get clear. He's gotten all but about half a truck length to being clear of Michael Newman, but as Winker shoves the 12 off into the corner yet again, that will stall his momentum. He'll have to drop back. A couple guys further back, keeping tabs on this battle, watching what's going to happen. One of those guys It's Clinton Woodby just in front of him. David Traylor, another one of our drivers that does have an onboard cam for us here tonight. And we talk about Mr. Consistent. David Traylor checks all the boxes, and right now he's running behind the other guy that we call Mr. Consistent, and Keith Prince. Those two with a pretty good run rolling right now. The driver out of Fairhope rolling the high side, and you can get pretty good speed up there now. I think the disadvantage is we're not going to see the top roll quite as well as you normally do here at Auto Club because it is nighttime, and when the lights are out, the track temp is cool. And so a lot of guys going to have plenty of grip just rolling the bottom. No real need to get up to that top lane. However, as we head further back in the field, we do have one more driver cam, and that goes to Jesse Wise. And I say a little bit further back in the field, but not too far. Jesse with a decent run here early, still looking to pick up a couple positions. He does sit in that 13th spot. And the final driver cam that we'll take a look at here tonight, the driver out of Dudley Shoals in North Carolina. You see he's got a pretty good run going right now. He is another one of those guys working the high side, and that is another one of the beauties that we see here at Auto Club is just all the lane choices. I mean, you can wrap the bottom, run the middle, rip the wall, whatever you decide to go with, you're able to find speed. But right now, Kevin Winker looks like he's been able to find a little bit of speed on the bottom. You saw him jump out of line. Was able to utilize that draft, get a run on the 12, but pretty much same thing here as we saw with Braden Avila, and that's just not able to get clear. I think Avila may be seeing some of this, and he's going to try a different approach here. Instead of going to the bottom and trying to push Winker clear, I think he's going to try to push Newman clear. Maybe see if he can get to the right rear, try to take the top lane away from the 12 truck. So nothing going just yet. Further back here, still 2x2. Keith Prince, David Traylor now doing a little bit of tandem work on the bottom lane. Eric Hegdahl up top. Kevin Winker still running the highest, though. He's going to get a little bit of clean air, but now Avila back on the charge as he jumps to the bottom lane. They were both able to get plenty clear of Kevin Winker. But how about 4 Chevys followed by a Ford, 2 Fords rather, and a Toyota currently making up your top 7 positions. Clinton Woodby just behind. He was able to catch this little drafting group, and speaking of groups, that's what we're starting to see a little bit here in the track map. It's going to break it down the best. Look at the separation we're starting to see, while everybody overall is still within probably about 5 to 10 seconds of each other. I would say actually 5 to 7. You see, you're starting to get a little bit of a separation of a couple of these packs. The leaders, as it stands right now, throw your top 8 under a blanket. And then you got to get a kind of a little bit of a break here to the 13 of Mark Beverly. He's got Bill Hales in a whole rat's nest, hornet's nest, if you will, behind him. The 77 of Michael Miller, Joe Yakes back here as well. Winner at Atlanta, so he knows these high-speed mile-and-a-half or faster tracks. I guess I should say longer tracks. But he's looking for win number 2 on the season here tonight. John Shilino still looking for that first win on the season. Had a good qualifying effort here tonight, but race pace a little off what maybe he's expecting right now. Still plenty of time to make some small adjustments. Maybe think about trying a little bit of different tire strategy, but there you see it. Up to 184 miles an hour down the back straightaway for Michael Newman. And you got to tip your cap to what the 12 truck's been doing right now. Tried a different tire strategy, and so far so good. He's been able to stay in front of Braden Avila up to this point. Kevin Winker on the outside, Keith Prince back in 3rd. Now they are coming up on what's going to be some of the first lap traffic of the night as Jonathan Herbert further back, potentially with some trouble here. You see the 88 machine slow on the apron. Looks like he's going to be able to get it back together. Not sure what happened, but that's going to cost him a handful of positions here. Let's watch this coming off of turn 4. Ooh. Well, he gets bullied around a little bit here. Elbows were out for Colton Hardy, it looked like. See, does he just get loose? Does he tag the wall? What happens here? Oh, it's the 8 machine that actually gets into the wall. Colton Hardy sees that, tries to jump low. Unfortunately, Jonathan Herbert's there, and they make some contact. That sends the 88 down through the grass. Takes a little detour, does a little dirt tracking, but quickly able to get back on track with no further issues. By the way, that was Nicholas Lawrence, who you saw give a little kiss to the outside wall. I think he's okay. He'll continue on forward. So back up front. Now the battle for the lead back on here between Michael Newman and Kevin Winker. All of a sudden, Winker has found a ton of speed in a big way here as he's trying to get clear of the 12, but just have not seen that bottom work enough to get clear. It's shown speed, but the outside seems like the lane to be in if you're trying to play defense. Now the 25 Avila thought about splitting the 42, but couldn't really go too much lower there. You see the white line. These guys are allowed to go below the apron on this track, and in real life, sometimes they used to go below the apron in 3 and 4, but these trucks don't usually like it too well, so no surprise to see Avila just kind of bail out there, take a second spot in line, and Now it's Keith Prince who looks to make a charge after he's been sitting back in the shadows here for a couple laps, taking it easy, seeing what's going on. We do have a couple people tuning in here tonight. Good to see everybody out here and in chat. We got a couple chatting as well. Pulch said, no one is going to believe me, but I have a friend whose brother's coworker briefly dated Trailer. She said that on their first date they went to a restaurant and he ordered 2 different bowls of soup, mixed them together with 1 spoonful at a time before eating both bowls of a mixed soup together. Interesting stories. We got a wreck up front. A couple of your top 5 Avila's in it, Trailers in it, and a couple others. Keith Prince, the 3rd truck involved in this one, just started to catch the end of it there. And man, oh man, 3 trucks going to roll back onto the racing surface. But 19 laps complete of 105, and we draw second blood here on the night with your second caution. Here we go. Let's back this up and take another look. First view is going to be from the blimp cam. Watch Braden Avila up top. Not sure if that's where this is going to start. Is Prince with a big checkup. Ooh, what happened there to the 3? As he drops down, Woodby tags him a little bit in the left side of his bumper, and that gets Prince out of shape immediately. Sends him up the track. Braden Avila up in the outside lane, nowhere to go, just a victim in this one. He's going to get turned around. You see Winker just sneak by the outside, and then there's the onrushing David Trailer, nowhere to go. He misses it initially. Actually, yeah, it looks like he does miss it overall. I thought for sure we saw Trailer get collected, but was able to do a nice piece of driving to maneuver through this one. So you kind of wonder what happened. The big checkup here for Keith Prince. He looked good coming off a 4, and then all of a sudden, truck just lost a bunch of speed. Ooh, that's what it was. He was drifting up. Truck got tight. He had to bail out of the throttle, and then the tap from Woodby just not quite squared up. And again, it doesn't take much in these trucks. That was enough to get him out of shape, and that's a tough break right there. Actually, let's go on board now with the 54 machine of David Trailer, as we talked about what a close call it was for him, and boy, he just barely missed this. Here's the view. He sees it actually happening before he gets there, and he brakes before those trucks even come down the racing surface. Wow, almost like a 6th sense right there for David Trailer to miss that. Nicely done. Take a couple more looks at this here. First run from the TV static cam. And yeah, as they come across the track, there's just not much you can do. But luckily, nobody tags the outside wall, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of damage from this wreck. Just a couple guys that lost a little bit of track position. Is see right there, Keith Prince comes to a grinding halt, and here's a final look at it. Man, that was a wicked save by Kevin Winker as well. Braden Avila, good job keeping it off the wall as he goes in a slide through the grass, and even keeping it off that inside wall. Nicely done by 2 of the top guys that we see early in the series here, early in the season rather. And so now 20 of 105 laps complete, just about a quarter of the way through this race. And it is still Michael Newman leading the way, Kevin Winker 2nd, Eric Hegdahl 3rd, David Trailer back in 4th, Mark Beverly in 5th, Bill Hales in 6th, Will Rainwell in 7th, Michael Miller 8th, Joe Yakes 9th, and John Shilino really rounding out your top 10. Well, as Michael Newman continues to lead here, and again, a little bit of a varying tiring strategy, but let's see what he's got to say. He's having a good run early. Let's see what his plan is here for the rest of the stage. Hey, Michael, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, looking pretty fast early. First race out of the cast. So far, so good. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Did a little bit of NIS over the weekend. Got the Daytona 500, so just trying to ride that momentum and be nice, or feels nice to just race full strength again. Having a lot of fun with the guys.
Well, speaking of momentum, how about Auto Club? I mean, such an interesting track. We see a lot of drafting, but you still got to save some tire. And so far, it's kind of been a battle for clean air. Seems like the outside's been working well for you. Was that kind of what you figured out, or was that the plan coming in?
No, that was a plan coming in. Qualifying, definitely want to be on the bottom line. That's going to get you the fastest lap. But racing, you have to save the tires. So figured stay out, get some clean air so I don't have a draft to worry about, and save the tires, stay on the high line, pin them down the bottom so they burn their tires, and go from there.
All right, well, appreciate you giving us a quick word. We'll let you get ready for the restart. Good luck the rest of the way.
10-4, thank you.
There you go. Put him back to his team chat, and Certainly hoping that we did put him back in the right chat, but see him on the driver cam there looking pretty excited, as he should be. He's got a fast truck here so far on the night, and he's got a chance to maybe capture stage 1. Ooh, disorganized restart. Big check up on the outside. This could cause some major issues. Nobody ready for that one. I'm trying to figure out here if they're all going to hold it together. It looks like they do somehow. I think Michael Newman decided to go late. The outside was getting a little antsy, and Kevin Winker went from hero to zero there as he falls out of the top 3 on the restart. Man, very interesting sequence of events that we just saw right there. The drop of the green, but again, everybody saves it, so they'll start to get lined back up. And fortunately for Michael Newman, he's not going to be able to run away right here. See Eric Hegdahl going to take a look to the inside in the 11 truck. Now, important to note, we do have 8 laps, or excuse me, I meant to say 18 laps to the rest of this stage, so we'll see if guys decide to maybe settle in here, try to save some tire, or if it's at the point where it's go time and you're getting all you can. Further back here, Brody Benty in the 63 started 11th, and since then currently sits 11th, the driver out of New Philadelphia. Back in the 33 just behind him, John Shilino, Tyler Beverly. But this restart, thinking it's kind of a product of that checkup, a lot more single file than any restart we've seen prior to this point. However, Michael Newman, he has got a lot of pressure, and now he's got some pressure to his inside, as it is Eric Hegdahl looking to make a run on the 12 truck. And he quickly has to jump back in line, as there was just not enough momentum to make the inside work. He's got that Red Bull livery. We'll see if he tries to jump back to the outside. Newman liking whatever he's been able to work so far, and it's been about the top half of the track. And so when you go further back here, you see guys able to work the bottom. The further back you get in the field, the easier the passes are to make. But traffic in general tonight has not been easy to maneuver through. Drafting's keeping everybody pretty even, though, and pretty close to the front. Could throw your first 5 under a blanket as they stand at the moment. And here comes series owner Mark Beverly, one of the Asphalt Outlaw Racing drivers, with a good run here early. And now that he pulls up into the draft of the top 2, we'll see if he decides to make a move or if he stays in line. How about almost 3 wide further back? One of the guys that maybe a little bit shocking to see up here right now, just because we know he likes to wait until the second half of these races to get aggressive, is Tyler Beverly out of Youngstown, Ohio. Again, normally used to seeing Tyler kind of chill out in the back for a little bit, maybe make his move towards the second half of the race, but not tonight. He is on the loud pedal early, and he has already got himself up into the top 5 and almost up to the top 3 as they stand at the moment. And he's going to have a chance out of here with Eric Hegdahl, Mark Beverly. I'm not sure if it's the new tires or some confidence here, but man, Tyler Beverly has got a rocket ship all of a sudden here with 25 laps complete. He's looking to the inside here of his teammate Mark and seeing if he can pick up that position. But the longer they stay side by side, the more of a chance it gives your leaders to pull away if they stay lined up as they were right there going into turn number 1. Tyler Beverly, though, getting clear and quickly jumping up just in front of his teammate Mark Beverly. We'll see if those two try to work together to maybe set up a move around the 2 leaders. Nothing doing just yet. And as we go further back in the field, how about a little bit of side-by-side here between Michael Miller and the 18 of Evan Schilling. A couple rows back just behind them, Colton Hardy. And then just back here, we got a little bit of a scrap between Robert Dudley, John Shilino, and Nicholas Lawrence. They're trying to decide who wants to take that 16th position, make it 15th, as Shilino looks like he will get the best of it. The 29 of Andrew Hansley and the 69 of Jesse Wise side-by-side in their battle for 21st position. And right now, the back of the field, Thomas Siso looks like was not able to start this race. Lance Thompson with some issues as well. So it does have Jonathan Herbert at the moment currently scored as the last truck in this race. Good news for him is that doesn't look like anybody's really a lap down at the moment. I don't believe he's went a lap down either. Did get involved in an earlier incident, but as long as he's still on the lead lap, then as it looks like he is. So yeah, good news for Jonathan Herbert fans. And up front, good news for Tyler Beverly fans. He has taken the lead and he has pulled away. 0.7 of a second is the gap that Tyler Beverly has already created over Mark Beverly. Then Mark Beverly back here was 3 wide for just a moment there with Hegdahl and Newman, but they get that sorted out as they're going to go back to single file. Not for long, though. Hegdahl looks to make another move to the bottom. Newman's going to split them 3 wide here into turn 3. This is some very aggressive racing from a couple of teammates, along with another opposing teammate. The 13 of Mark Beverly, of course, on Asphalt Outlaws Racing. And then you got Mo Power for Eric Hegdahl. Michael Newman, though, he's going to make his pit stop right here. What an interesting choice this is. Not sure if he was expecting another caution or what happened, but we already did the fuel calculations. They should have been good to go the rest of the stage. So, again, not sure exactly what Michael Newman's got up his sleeve. We'll try to keep tabs on that for you if we can and let you know what's happening with it. Going back to the chat earlier, looks like Wild Will says, let's get after it. 92, play it easy. Snag a W at the end. Colt says, for me, it's more than just racing. It's about getting friends and having a good time. I don't even care about what's happening on the track. I just love to see people go room. Wild Will says, for me, it's about ripping and tearing. The hard globs of sweat pouring off the brow line while grabbing a gear and taking first boogity. Get after it. And, yeah, you know, comparing a lot of those to real life, but I don't know if these guys are quite as intense right now as that, but certainly a good chance we'll see that at the end. Here's a little bit more three-wide action between Evan Schilling, Michael Miller, and Kevin Winker. And the tire strategy, getting as thrown off as it was, is showing you just how important those tires were. Tyler Beverly has stretched it out now over 2 seconds from the rest of the field, and to show you just what that looks like in terms of lap times and the track map, there's a good view. So Tyler Beverly, a 41.3 last lap, 41.2 the lap prior. Compare that, he's running almost 6-7 tenths of a second faster than second place Mark Beverly. So as the two Beverlys continue to show that they are the class of the field here, at least at the moment. We've got a couple other guys trying to get up here in this mix. How about Bill Hales? First time that we're seeing him in the top 4 here on the night. He's up 6 spots from where he started and looking for more, and still looking for that first win on the season as well, by the way. But we are going to be coming to 8 laps to go in stage number 1 as they cross the line this next time. Joe Yates back in 6th. He's up 19 from where he started. Again, just continuing to move his way further and further towards the front of this field. Just a matter of time before the 87 has a shot at maybe getting some track position and a pit stop and fighting for the lead. The 18 of Schilling back here just in front of Michael Miller, Colton Hardy. 63 of Brody Benty. How about the 31 of Jay Stinson? Haven't shown a lot of acknowledgement to Jay just yet, but similar to what we're seeing from Joe Yates, silently working his way up towards the front of the field. He's up 10 from where he started. Currently sitting just outside the top 10 for the moment. So you got Tyler Beverly still leading Mark Beverly in second. The real battle is the battle for second as Bill Hales and David Traylor refuse to let that 13 truck pull away. And as strong as the draft is here, I think that speaks even more volume to how fast Tyler Beverly is right now on those fresher tires as he is pulled again. A 2 now making almost a 3-second gap over second place Mark Beverly, and then third Bill Hales, and fourth David Traylor. .33 laps now complete, and just about the rest of the field single file. We got a couple of double file action going on, a couple rows back from the middle of the pack, and then Kevin Winker continues to fall. So definitely doesn't look like the strategy that him and Michael Newman had planned played out very well, but as Newman made his stop, it does currently have him sitting a lap down, but looks like he's getting ready to get that lap back here pretty quick as he's got Tyler Beverly well within sight. And so once he gets his lap back, then he will be hoping for a caution, and if he could get one, his chances of winning the stage would be pretty good, but he's going to need one soon, and just don't know if we look to see that with some of the gaps starting to be formed here between your top 5. Between these guys, it is now a 4-truck race for that third position. Make it second as Mark Beverly jumps back up to the top. And so Mark trying to hold him off as long as he can. Again, the outside has been the best lane if you're trying to play defense so far on the night, so no surprise to see the 13 trying to make that lane work as well. But Bill Hales, he's been able to stay pretty consistent on the bottom. Out back, we're going to wreck. Brody Benty is going to go hard into the inside wall. John Shilino follows him in. No caution yet. Do we stay green? It looks like we do, but the 63 and the 33 are torn up. Brody Benty is able to get it back on track, but you see the suspension there is bent. We go to the onboard view. That tells you everything you need to know. That wheel is almost 90 degrees to the left, maybe even more than that. So he's going to have to go in here and take his fast spare. There was some contact, which is what sent Brody around, and the crash ensued from there. Here's a look at it as they were coming off of turn number 2. Again, he's going to get some help here. It looked like from John Shilino. As Michael Miller starts to wash up, maybe causes a little bit of a stack up. The 63 gets a little bit fishtailing, and then, yeah, it looks to me like John Shilino starts to move up as the 63 is still trying to gather it up. And as Shileno does move up. 63 again, moving down a little bit. They make contact, and they meet in the middle in the 63 and the 33. They're going to go pretty hard into the inside safer barrier here. Big hit for Brody Benty and a similar one for John Shileno. And so they're able to get back rolling, but again, that's going to be a fast pair early for at least one, if not both of these drivers. And it's going to cost them a lot of track position, especially if one of them had to tow. But even if you don't, all that time sitting on the pits is guaranteed to lose you at least a couple, if not more than that, in terms of laps. So now 36 of 105 laps complete, and I bet you right here that Tyler Beverly is wanting on everything to try to hold off second place Michael Newman here. Keep him a lap down because he knows that the 12 has speed and doesn't want him to get that lap back and have a chance to bring it right back to the front here in the second and final stage. The real battle, though, continues to be the battle for second. Was Mark Beverly for a while. Now it's going to go to David Traylor. He's getting help from Bill Hales. Got a couple of good-looking paint schemes and a couple of fast trucks as Hegdahl trying to wrap that white line, not able to do it. The truck bounced, got tight on him. Now the 87 of Joe Yates sees that mistake. He's going to jump up, try to slip by on the outside. So all this battling is currently going on about 3 seconds behind your leader. And so Tyler Beverly is liking what he's seeing right now, continuing to see if he can maybe stretch this gap here over the next couple laps. But Michael Newman has still not been able to get by. Look to see him make the move right here on the front stretch. That's exactly what he's going to do. Looked like maybe Tyler thought about giving him a little bit of a block, but thinks better of it. And I think that's a smart choice and a veteran choice. But Tyler Beverly doesn't want to get himself in a bad spot early with the run that he's got going right now. Again, he is up 28 positions from where he started this race at. That is your biggest mover in the field by far. The man going maybe in the furthest wrong direction is John Shileno down 21st from where he started. Brody Benty down 18. Michael Newman down 15. And Braden Avila currently down 20. He has not been able to recover yet after that earlier incident. He sits in 22nd. So as Tyler Beverly crosses the line this time, he'll be taking 2 laps to go in stage number 1. And if we get a caution at this point, it would make the stage official. And the other thing that we get right here is the closing of the pit lane. And I take it back. That was actually taking the white flag. So this will be the final lap here in stage number 1. Tyler Beverly going to try to hold on for all he's worth here. Again, tried the strategy. It worked out well. And he was able to accumulate himself a well over 2-second lead. Starting to fade a little bit here. You got to hope that the 45 has got whatever he needs to make it the rest of the way. Michael Newman, by the way, was able to get by as he rolls into turn number 3, thundering through 3 and 4. He is going to have all the momentum he needs on exit. How about it? Tyler Beverly, quiet start to the season, but it's going to come out to Auto Club with a bang in the early stages. Leads about the last 10, and he is your stage 1 winner.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Battle for second was tight, but it does go to David Traylor, followed by Bill Hales, Joe Yates, Mark Beverly rounding out your top 5. Eric Hegdahl 6th, Evan Schilling in 7th, Colton Hardy 8th, Jay Stinson 9th, and Nicholas Lawrence. Good recovery for him. He rounds out your top 10. All right, we are going to take our first side-by-side break of the night, expecting pit stops from every driver. 4 and fuel going to be the call, and we will see if we can't get an interview with your Stage 1 winner when we come back. Stick with us at Auto Club. Back live at Auto Club Speedway for the winning big 210 in the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series. And how about this? Everybody did bring it down under yellow, but we got a lead change. David Traylor now finds himself out in front. And similar to what we see with Kevin Winker, this is another one of those guys where if you give him clean air, he's going to make you pay for it. So we'll see what Traylor can do here. This will be his first time starting on the front row here tonight. As take a look at the driver cam. There you go. He's getting ready to get back going as he adjusts the mic. And he is just as amped as we are. So as the lights go off here, I'll actually hide David Traylor for just a moment and see if we can get a quick word here with your Stage 1 winner, Tyler Beverly. Hey, Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy? Give him one more quick try here. Hey, Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Aston. Yeah, I got you.
Well, I know you're getting ready to go green, but hey, man, Stage 1 winner, a lot of speed, a little bit of strategy. How you feeling up here at the front?
Feeling a little nervous. I'm not usually up here. I haven't been running too hot in the standing, so I figured I wanted to get some stage points. Took a risk with getting some tires there, so paid off for me.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it did, and now you got yourself on the front row with a chance to maybe you'll see if you can fight for your first win on the season. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this thing.
Alrighty, hey, thanks.
There you go, Tyler Beverly, your Stage 1 winner. Says he wanted to try something a little different, and boy, it certainly worked out well. Here we go, though, as we work our way back into the Geico restart zone. David Traylor, Tyler Beverly, the field in the hands of those two trucks. So we get ready to go back green. It will be the final scheduled green flag. We'll see if we get some more cautions, but here we go. Back through the gears. It's Traylor with a good jump. Tyler Beverly not quite as quick through the gears as he would like to be. Bill Hales, though, going to cut him some slack. He will stick behind his teammate for the moment. As they work their way down into turn 3, it is going to be David Traylor who has the advantage. We're going to see how this all sorts out. How about a little crank it up at Auto Club? Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. We've seen a couple restarts tonight, but I think this one has by far been the most exciting of them all. 2 and 3 wide. Tyler Beverly not backing down. First time that we're seeing Jay Stinson up here battling for the top 3 here on the night. Eric Hegdahl, Will Rainwell, a lot of big hitters. Further back, Kevin Winker with a big swerve to the left as he jumps out of line. Maybe looking for a move there on the 18 of Evan Schilling. We'll see if he's able to make that move work. As they get down into turn 3, looks like he'll be able to do so. But his trailer fell back a little bit during the sequence of these first five laps or so. I think that's by design. I think David is working on maybe saving a little bit of tire right now. And again, if this thing goes green, we are expecting what looks like it's going to be one more pit stop to round this out. If nothing else, it's certainly going to be really close. Again, about 34 to 36 laps. That gives you right around 70 to 72 laps if it was just a one-stopper, then yeah, that would be a total of about 72 laps worth of fuel split between both of those runs. And so yeah, that would get these guys the rest of the way. We went back green with right around 60 laps to go, so shouldn't be any issues there. Should be a definite one-stopper. So now it just becomes a battle of track position and tire management. Looks like Jay Stinson, he'll jump to the lead now, 2x2 further back, though. It's Tyler Beverly on the bottom of Will Rainwell. And just behind him, they're starting to single file out a little bit, but actually, I take that back. I said to the bottom of Will Rainwell. Yep, sure enough, further back, actually, Eric Hegdahl is to the bottom here of Jesse Wise. And Rainwell a couple spots up. Colton Hardy just behind Isaac Smallwood. But the 31 of Stinson, how about it? Sticking the nose out in front for the first time here on the night. And on his inside, the 17 of Will Rainwell. You know, he's not going to back down either. The 5 of Isaac Smallwood. Good recovery, don't forget, after being in one of those first cautions that we had here on the night. He had some damage, had to get it repaired, and has had to slowly and methodically work his way back up through the field. He's been able to do so. It's been a successful drive up to this point for the 5 truck, but he's got to pick off a couple more if he wants a chance at the trophy here at the end of the night. Further back, haven't had a chance to talk too much here tonight about the 4 machine of Jesse Calloway, but it's been a solid run. Started 17th, he's up to 14th. The driver out of Granite Falls, North Carolina, staying in front of what was one of your heavy hitters early, Braden Avila. Put down a solid qualifying run and looked strong in the early going, but after being involved, and again, one of the early cautions, has not quite been able to recover since. He still sits back outside the top 10. So right now, you got Stinson leading Will Rainwell, Tyler Beverly back in 3rd, Isaac Smallwood 4th, and David Traylor 5th. You see Traylor going to jump all the way down to the bottom of the circuit right there. He knows the run these guys are setting up to potentially get, and he wants no part of it. And so remember, Auto Club different than most tracks as we take a look right there at Jesse Wise on the driver cam, but Auto Club different than most tracks in the sense of you can fan out as wide as you want and you can go below the white line at any point on this racetrack. Haven't seen anybody try it in 1 and 2 because the banking's a little different under the apron than it is on the rest of the track, and the truck doesn't like it that much. However, 3 and 4, if you want to go below the white line, you certainly can. And then down the front straightaway, I think that's where we've seen it utilized the most here tonight when it's been used. Taking the shortest way around that curved front stretch, trying to gain any time you can. But the outside has shown a lot of strength here tonight. We thought in part it was due to that cooler track temp. It looks like it's still the case, 80 degrees as we continue to work our way into the nighttime. Now approaching about 10 o'clock here in the sim. And so now Smallwood works his way into the top 3, and he's going to be looking at a battle for the lead here in just about half a lap or so. Jay Stinson out in front. Most laps he's led here on the night. In fact, first laps that he's led on the night. So we'll see how long this lasts as Smallwood is really putting the pressure now on Will Rainwell in the 17 truck. Tyler Beverly still hanging up here. Colton Hardy, David Traylor. So again, not a lot of double file action. The only moves you really see made at this point as we start to settle in and gear up for a long green flag run is the moves that you're trying to make to gain a position, no more, no less. You don't want to catch yourself stuck beside a guy for too long. You can stall out your momentum along with wearing out those good years that you're going to need by the time it's time to pit again. And so the longer that Smallwood and Rainwell run next to each other, that is exactly what Jay Stinson and Tyler Beverly want to see. Beverly's going to have a chance to catch these guys and make a move. And of course, Jay Stinson looking to pull away. Traylor thinking the same thing. He is on the bottom, was on the bottom of 3 wide for just a second. He'll slide back up to the middle and puts him back to 2x2. But with 54 now of 105 laps complete, we are officially over halfway through this race. And a good time to talk about some of the scheduling, what we have coming up next, and what points are looking like for the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Series up to this point. So, as always, I think we're going to start with point standings. Here's what it's looking like after last week's race. David Traylor currently leads the way in points. It is Keith Prince back in second, with Kevin Winker currently sitting in that 3rd spot. Back and forth is Braden Avila, and then Isaac Smallwood, Mark Beverly, Eric Hegdahl, Joe Yakes, all locked into the playoffs and making up your top 8. Jesse Calloway in 9th, and Robert Dudley rounding out your top 10. Jesse Wise back in 11th, Evan Schilling in 12th. And moving on behind there, it's kind of starts to become a mess. We're not sure who's going to go where after this race, but the points battle, it's still really close. And again, you got to remember, it's not like what NASCAR used to be in real life, where it was just who accumulated the most points at the end of the season. We've got the regular playoff format, very similar to what we see in the real life truck series. So these guys fighting, first of all, to get to the playoffs, and then, of course, going to be fighting again to make it to the championship and ultimately be crowned an Asphalt Outlaws Racing champion. Taking a look at what it's looking like here for the schedule the rest of the way. Last week was Dover Motor Speedway, the Monster Mile. This week at Auto Club. Next week we head to Darlington, the Lady in Black, and the week after that, back to a Super Speedway. That's right, it's Talladega Super Speedway on March 8th, and we head to the first short track of the season. And I don't know if they considered Rockingham a short track, but this one's certainly a true one in its form. Oh, we got Wreck-It out back. 2 around. Looks like Wise may have been one of them. Couldn't tell if it was Wise or Herbert. No caution, but yeah, it was Jesse Wise. Big damage to the rear of his Toyota Tundra. Gets it spun back around, but you see we got body panels laying on the track. It is off the racing surface, so they're not going to throw a caution for virtual debris. But what in the world happened here? Looks like Eric Hegdahl was maybe the other truck involved initially. Actually, this may have been a little bit of 2 different situations, and actually it's going to be Jesse and Jesse here. They make contact with each other, and we'll see if this view gives it a pretty good angle. Yeah, you see the 69. Does he just get loose? Really odd look for Wise coming off the corner. Washed up the track. You'd almost think he was getting a little bit tight, but looks like... Oh, no, that's what he's doing. I think he's trying to make a move here on Robert Dudley, and maybe, unfortunately, doesn't realize that Jesse Calloway is just below him, and that sends him spinning, and he takes a really hard shot with the rear of that truck into the inside wall. I think Calloway was actually able to walk away unscathed in terms of damage for that truck, but, yeah, again, Jesse Wise not quite so lucky. Here's another look at it from a little bit of a different view. Yeah, as Dudley slides up, 69's got to run. I mean, that's my best guess, unless... he was getting loose and we just couldn't tell, but you see he hits a really tough part of the wall there where it's kind of angled, makes that hit a lot harder than it may have been. It was a little bit flatter right there. Take one more look at this here from TV3. This was on the restart, by the way. This was Eric Hegdahl. That's why I'm bringing this up. I want to see what happened here with Eric Hegdahl that we may have missed initially right on the get-go, the restart. As did he have some contact here? Actually, I take it back, was not on the restart. This was just recently here with all the racing. Ooh. Oh, this is going to hurt too. Yikes. A lot of hard racing up front, and they got the elbows out. Unfortunately, Eric Hegdahl was on the bad end of the stick, or the receiving end there. And so he got sent through the grass into the inside wall. That cost him position. Then, of course, Jesse Wise is going to have to probably go in and think about using that fast spare. We'll see if he did just that. Right now, though, after that damage, it puts him back to 29th position. And yeah, he is sitting a lap down. Looks like the rear end of the truck is back on. So he definitely went and got it fixed. I think that was a smart decision here, as we still have what's going to be 45 laps to go to cross the line this time. Isaac Smallwood, David Traylor, currently making up the battle for the lead. One's up 5, one's up 1. In terms of total trucks passed from where they started this race at, Smallwood is ripping the wall. Traylor is trying to hug the bottom. Jay Stinson standing by, spectating, watching to see if either of these two are going to make a mistake. But, I mean, as good as Isaac Smallwood's been up to this point in the season, I don't think you can really expect much, if any, of a mistake from that driver. I mean, he has shown time and time again that he belongs in victory lane. And it's not been a question. Couple mile and a halfs, a road course. I mean, the only thing this guy's missing, I think, is a short track. And he came pretty close at Rockingham if it wasn't for a little bit of bad luck. And almost added another one at Atlanta. And that about last 100 yards before the start-finish line tangle that he had with Joe Yates. And finishing off the thought earlier on the schedule, Martinsville Speedway again on March 15th. Then we're going to head to Legacy, Kentucky, and then our next road course, Mid-Ohio, where this guy might prevail right here in himself, Isaac Smallwood. We'll see what he can make happen there. Next place up on the schedule after Mid-Ohio, Phoenix, followed by the Brickyard, Texas Motor Speedway on April 19th. And then it's Iowa, followed by Daytona International Speedway on May 3rd to round out the regular season. We'll talk more about what the playoff races are looking like for next time. That is what the rest of the regular season schedule is set up for the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series. So Traylor, who I mentioned, thought was saving a little tire. It certainly looks like that's the case, because now, as we've ticked off a couple handfuls of laps through this next stage, you can start to see the guys that still have plenty of grip and the guys that don't. Traylor looks like he's willing to push the issue here at least just a little bit, as he took a peek to the inside right there. Nothing doing. Chris to get back to the top here behind Isaac Smallwood, and Smallwood working himself. You see him trying to break the draft down the front straightaway and the rear or the back stretch as well. I think he feels like that truck's got the speed, which, I mean, I wouldn't argue with him. It certainly looks like it does, and if he can get that draft far enough away where David Trailer loses it, Isaac Smallwood feels like maybe that's his chance to pull away and start to really try to dominate the rest of this race. Further back in the pack, a lot of single file action now. First time, honestly, that we've seen this tonight, as we've had a lot of caution separating different stuff, but setting up to potentially be the longest green flag run we've had up to this point. There you go, Smallwood breaking the draft again, almost similar to what they do in IndyCar. You see Trailer now starting to follow down there. He does not want to keep losing time on the straightaways. This time Smallwood's going to take the top line, Trailer on the bottom. Jay Stinson, Bill Hill saying, you guys do your thing. We'll sit back here in the shadows and watch. Joe Yakes, he is now broken into the top 5. He's up 20 from where he started. He's looking to join the party up here. Clinton Woodby back in 6th. Robert Dudley in 7th. Robert Dudley in 8th. Will Rainwell 9th. And Nicholas Lawrence rounding out your top 10. And so with 64 laps complete, we're getting ready to hit that fuel window here in probably about 5 to 10 laps, depending on if you want to make sure you have enough for a couple overtimes. But in terms of making it, if we stay green the rest of the way, it's going to be about, again, with 34 to 36 laps to go. I think you play it on the more conservative side, especially if you're Isaac Smallwood, who, again, is all of a sudden here, it looks like found a ton of speed here in the middle portions of this race. So as everybody tries to still fight it out for position, tires continue to go away. Handling's going to become a little bit of an issue. And right here, it's Will Rainwell along with Nicholas Lawrence battling for that 9th position. The other rounding out the top 10. And then here's Braden Avila. He has continued to try to fight his way back to the front now as Tyler Beverly has actually been fading a little bit here over the course of the last couple laps. There's Michael Miller, Keith Prince, along with the 28 machine of Dennis Steele. Surprised to see Keith Prince back at as much traffic as he is in right now as well. And then Kevin Winker, not quite the night he wants. But then further back, we got a separation of packs here. Jonathan Herbert appears to be leading what I would assume would be this second group right here. See the 29 of Andrew Hansley in it, Jesse Calloway, Jonathan Herbert. There's Michael Newman. Yeah, the last truck in that lead draft. And so those guys aren't going to be able to catch without a caution, most likely. Meanwhile, Isaac Smallwood is hoping the opposite here. He is hoping that he can find a way to break the draft from the from the 54 truck of David Trailer. Now you see the 53 of Bill Hills. He'll slide right back in line. A lot of single file action, and now it just kind of becomes a little bit of a waiting game to a degree. And again, when we have that, Isaac Smallwood breaks the cushion and gets into the outside wall. Now he's stuck in it, and that is going to cost him 5 to 7 positions as all the leaders go by. Mark Beverly's got to run. I don't think he's close enough, but again, that's that little bit of maybe too much risk versus the reward here early. Trailer was waiting to see a mistake. He got one, and boy, did he pounce. New leader out in front at Auto Club. We saw him have it on the restart. And now he's back where the 54 machine rightfully belongs. But getting back to Isaac Smallwood there, he was running the top and it had a lot of speed. The risky run with that, though, is if you get into that outside wall, it has a tendency to almost kind of suck the truck in and not really let you get off the wall until you slow down substantially. And so, again, that cost Smallwood quite a few positions, and he's got to stay out. So if he's got any scrapes and nicks on the right side from that contact, he's not going to be able to get it fixed here, at least until he goes in for that final green flag pit stop. And I still don't know if you can risk fixing it. It's just too much time lost for any optional damage that he might have. Just don't think the risk versus reward ratio is quite there. Just as I don't think it was quite there as he was running as high as he was. But he's going to continue to try it here, and sometimes that's what you got to do. There's not really any other lane open in terms of getting clean air on the front of his truck. So he'll continue to try the top, see if he can't keep making progress. And now that we've hit 68 laps, again, we continue to get closer and closer to what would be the final green flag pit stop if we stay clean the rest of the way. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back. You won't miss a thing. Stick with us as David Trailer leads it at Auto Club. Back live at Auto Club Speedway, starting to slowly wind down now on the finish of the winning Bid 210. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Those that are just now tuning in or have been tuning in for a little while watching these guys go at it. It's been a fun time so far. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. How about Bill Hales getting up there taking the lead? We saw him working his way into the top 5, flirting with the top 3. And now we get yet another lead change on the night. It has been the story. I'll tell you what, I mean, it has been nothing but lead change after lead change. However, the storyline that we're getting ready to see is the final round of green flag pit stops. A lot of guys have already came in, but still waiting for a lot of your leaders to do the same. Isaac Smallwood, though, he has already brought that 5 truck down to the pits. You see him working his way back out and merging back onto the track now. And so everybody's slowly but surely going to cycle in, cycle out, and it's going to be all a game of where do you come out at and how do you make some adjustments here. Does Trailer decide to bring it down this time? He does. He's going to get followed by quite a few. Bill Hales bails out late. He'll get in clean. Jay Stinson's going to follow in the 31. And so your top 3 now all going to bring it down, and we'll have to see here how does Isaac Smallwood compare. In fact, we can take a look at the track map and do a little comparison. Right now, Isaac Smallwood is in 21st. And if we go on track, that is all the way back, just now working his way off of turn number 2. So keep an eye on that 22nd position right now, about halfway down the back straightaway. Compare that to your leaders who, again, still sit on the pits for the moment. Bill Hales, David Trailer, and Jay Stinson. And if Trailer and them can somehow find a way to get out in front of the 5 truck here, this would be really, really good news for them, but I don't think they're going to do it. Yeah, they're not. They're roaring down the front stretch right now, and just like that, Isaac Smallwood is going to be able to take this position here as they roar through turns 1 and 2. They're just not going to be up to speed in time, I don't think. Well, it's going to be a lot closer than I thought it initially was going to be. You see Smallwood there on the bottom. He will get by, but I don't think he's going to be able to run away. I think Bill Hales is within drafting range. Trailer, Stinson, going to be within drafting range as well with a couple of these other trucks that we have up here now. And you can see all the strategy that was trying to play out here. Some guys had no choice but to try to undercut it here, maybe hope for a caution, go back down, and even the playing field. But Joe Yakes being scored as your leader, Mark Beverly in 2nd, Michael Miller 3rd, Dennis Steele 4th, Keith Prince in 5th, Kevin Winker in 6th, Jonathan Herbert 7th, John Shilino 8th, Andrew Hansley 9th, and Eric Hegdahl rounding out your top 10. There's Braden Avila and Isaac Smallwood currently running bumper to bumper as they go into turn number 1. I don't think Smallwood's going to be sitting around too long. I believe he does have a little bit fresher tires than Braden Avila. Here's Bill Hales, David Trailer, Jay Stinson. And this final run is, again, still a pretty long run. Looks like it's going to be sitting right at about 30 laps, give or take. Maybe 5 laps just before that. We'll call it 25 laps. So you certainly got to make sure you're saving your stuff right here, because you're going to need just about all of it. The 87 of Joe Yakes, though, first laps that he'll get led here on the night. Again, he still has to make that final pit stop. Just as I say it, here he comes down to the pits, going to make his final stop right here on lap 77. One of the loose lug nuts drivers. This will be a 4 tire and fuel stop. No more, no less. And so, driver out of Darien, Wisconsin, as he pulls it into his box, he'll come to a halt. Looks like he was able to get in clean. And too, that's a hard thing to do as a driver, especially on old tires. I mean, one little slip up, little bit of a slide in your box can cost you so much track time. But this pit stop right here looks like it brought in just basically about everyone that hadn't pit up to this point. Looks like Keith Prince and Andrew Hansley, the only 2 that it leaves out who have yet to make their pit stop. And then it's Braden Avila and Isaac Smallwood. And we've kind of seen this before from Keith Prince, so I don't think we'll see him stay out too much longer. And sure enough, he is now going to make his final stop into the pits. And this one comes a little bit later, right about lap 79, the transition rather from 78 to 79. And so Keith Prince is going to take 4 in fuel. He'll relinquish the lead. Andrew Hansley is going to follow him down to the pits. And there's Braden Avila and Isaac Smallwood just now working their way into turn number 3. Bill Hales currently about a quarter of a track behind, and he is pulling with him David Trailer and Jay Stinson. So maybe a good strategy call here from Isaac Smallwood. He doesn't quite have as fresh of tires, but if he can utilize the draft here from Braden Avila and those 2 can continue to put down decent lap times, they may stretch this out enough where that second group cannot catch them by the end of this race. So it'll be 80 laps complete when they cross the start-finish line next time. That'll put us at 26 laps to go here in the winning Bid 210. While they continue to stay clean, let's take a quick look and where Ghost Racing Network is going to head next. Tomorrow night, the NOMA Truck Series makes its return. The 2024 season gets started with some preseason action. It's at Daytona in the Clash. And now this is still big news if you follow the Asphalt Outlaw Racing Series, because they are actually putting a team to go fight for a team championship and hopefully a driver championship in the NOMA Truck Series this season. So make sure you tune into that. We go green tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Make it 10:05. Qualifying goes green at 10. And we've done the NOMA Truck Series now for a couple seasons. They never fail to deliver. Looking forward to some more great racing tomorrow night, and we hope to see you all there. Monday night, we'll be back with the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series as well. And then, of course, can't forget about next Friday. We will be back yet again with the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series as they head to the Lady in Black Darlington, and then the week after, Talladega Super Speedway. So, couple guys maybe looking to see if they can secure a win before we get to that wild card point. But now it is Braden Avila who has taken over the lead. Isaac Smallwood second on his rear bumper. And now we got to start keeping an eye on that gap, third through probably about fifth. You see it sits at about 2.3 seconds, and that is that second group. So you got a 2-truck tandem up front and a 3-truck draft out back. And so again, it looks to me like Smallwood is playing a lot of patience right now with Avila. And you do got to wonder at what point does that patience run out? He's trying just to keep him up there, and of course, if you got draft, you're going to run faster on the straights, and as long as you both are running a similar speed, that's the fastest you're going to go each and every lap. But certainly would expect that Bill Hales, David Traylor, and Jay Stinson, with those lap or two fresher tires, would start to gain an advantage. Maybe not yet, but start gaining a major advantage towards the end of this race. As you see Avila jump back down to the bottom, Smallwood rolling the top, looking to see if he can set up a run for the back straightaway, but not the best corner right there from Isaac Smallwood. Actually, looked to me like Braden Avila was able to stretch it out a little bit off of turn 2. So now with 24 laps to go, Smallwood on the bumper. These three trying to catch. This is what's going to be the battle for the win. Again, no more scheduled pit stops. The only thing that would change any of that is if we get a caution, and 3 packs, at least 3 main packs have developed. We got a couple more than that, though, in terms of stragglers. But right now, the top 3 packs all trying to catch each other. This one being led by Joe Yates and Robert Dudley. You see Clinton Woodby is going to take a peek up top with Mark Beverly and Will Rainwell just behind them there. Looks like the 16 of Colton Hardy and the 12 of Michael Newman. Been an up and down night for the number 12, but a good run overall. Certainly looks like is how it's going to end. Nicholas Lawrence and Jesse Calloway. Just behind them, the 22 machine of Haas Beverly, who we actually haven't talked about here tonight. Haas is up 3 from where he started. Another one of the series admins, and the driver out of Ohio. He sits in that 15th spot for the moment, looking to see if he can pick up a couple more before this race is all said and done. And taking a look at a couple things. First thing is dashboard and weather. Look at the speeds these guys are still running, even on these old tires, and that shows you the effect of a draft. If you need any more info than that, I don't know how to give it to you. About 185 miles an hour going into turn number 1, even on tires that already have some wear on them. And so it shows you what that pushing can do, even on a bumpy track like Auto Club. The bad news for these leaders is that second group is slowly catching. They're still about 2 seconds back, but if they get within 1.5 seconds, that's when they start to sniff a draft, and they're going to pull up to the leaders that much quicker. Definitely like to see the chemistry, though, that we have right now from your 2 leaders in Avila and Smallwood. Showing a lot of respect here, and I tell you what, Smallwood's just doing everything in his power to not let the second pack catch, but they were able to trim off another couple tenths right there through turns 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. So now the gap currently sits at about 1.9 seconds. Seems like these two are able to gain in the turns but lose a little bit on the straightaways. With 20 laps to go, it's too early to really think about doing anything too aggressive in terms of maybe throwing a block, making a move. But the bad news here for Isaac Smallwood is that he doesn't have new tires, or he doesn't have as new of tires, rather, as the guys that are going to be coming from behind. So not sure how well he's going to be able to defend, but 1.5 seconds now the gap between that second pack and the rear bumper of Isaac Smallwood. So they are now officially within draft range. We'll see what they can do with it. Good to see Wild Will and Bren's in the chat. I hope you guys are having a good night. So we start to wind down again on the end of the winning bid 210 here at Auto Club. And so as we go back, check out how the rest of the field is doing here. Again, Lance Thompson and Thomas Saiso not able to start the race due to some sort of technical difficulty. And then Jesse Wise, what looked like a great night, all went wrong. For the 69 here late in the going, Brody Benty currently sitting in 28th. Andrew Hansley in 27th. Eric Hegdahl, again, great truck for him tonight. Started on pole, but unfortunately doesn't look like he's going to be able to end anywhere close to the top 3, at least as it stands for the moment. Andrew Hansley back in 26th, and Dylan Paws in 25th. Rick LePage 24th, John Shileno 23rd, Jonathan Herbert 22nd, Dennis Steele in 21st, Tyler Beverly in 20th, Michael Miller in 19th, Kevin Winker 18th, Keith Prince in 17th, Haas Beverly in 16th, Jesse Calloway in 15th, Evan Schilling in 14th, Nicholas Lawrence in 13th, Michael Newman in 12th, Colton Hardy in 11th, Will Rainwell back in that 10th spot, Clinton Woodby in 9th, Robert Dudley in 8th, Mark Beverly in 7th, Joe Yates 6th, Jay Stinson in 5th, David Traylor 4th, Bill Hills 3rd, and just in time because they have now got it under a second to your leaders here. Bill Hills, he's closing. I mean, he's going to get there, folks. There's no question on that. The question is going to be, when does he get there, and what does he do when he gets there? And, of course, how does Isaac Smallwood and Braden Avila try to counter what he does? Going to be coming to 17 laps to go this time. 2 miles to the map, 34 miles to go here at Auto Club as we cross the stripe this next time. And still a couple guys looking for their first win, making Avila one of them. Smallwood not in that boat at all, looking to see if he can capture another win here tonight. Bill Hills looking for his first win, along with David Traylor and Jay Stinson. All those guys are up here in this lead pack. And I mean, who would have guessed that pit stops here would have spread us out this much, especially with how much of an equalizer the draft has been just about all night. But that's certainly been the case, and now that Isaac Smallwood sees Bill Hills all of a sudden going from what looks like an ant in his mirror to a pretty big, quickly approaching object, he's going to have to start thinking about, does he need to maybe go around Braden Avila, take the lead, or does he stay behind here? Do they try to work together and maybe, I don't know, simultaneously throw a block? I mean, I don't know what Isaac Smallwood really can do here. He's got a little bit older tires. Bill Hills, he's going to have a run as well when he gets there. In fact, they might get here in turn 1. We'll see. Do they decide to make the move yet, or do they stay tucked in for one more corner? Looks like they are going to choose to stay tucked in line for one more corner. Smallwood does take the top. That does take a line away from Bill Hills. David Traylor running just behind the 53, but here comes some momentum now. The 54 tries to close up on the rear bumper. Jay Stinson does as well. Not quite enough that time to get within reach, but you know what we're also starting to see now that I certainly didn't expect is Joe Yates by himself actually starting to close in on this battle. Mark Beverly might be doing the same, and so we might actually end up dragging in even a couple more trucks into this mix of what right now is 5 trucks all in a lead draft, as Bill Hills finally got there, and now looked like he was thinking about jumping to the inside, and he's going to do just that going into turn number 1. Does David Traylor go with him? Looks like he does. He'll cut him some slack here through the middle of the corner, give him a chance to get some grip and try to get the throttle down here on exit. Smallwood sees that. He's going to be able to counter with a big push on the outside to Braden Avila. Those two have been working so good together all night. Can they continue to work that good the rest of the way? And is it enough to fend off the charging 3 with a little bit fresher tires? So now Smallwood finally decided it was go time on Braden Avila. He is going to take a look to the inside here, hoping to get a push from Traylor, but it's actually Bill Hills who wins the race to the bumper up top. And that's going to give a big surge of momentum to your current leader in Braden Avila. And all those seams showing all the different lanes being run right now. It seems like the top is still the place to be. But Bill Hills and Jay Stinson, you saw, shifted their line down. Man, that was another close one right there as Isaac Smallwood drifted up. That gave David Traylor a chance to split him 3 wide, but he thinks better of it. So as they get into turn 3 now, Bill Hills with another little bit of a hiccup there. He has to bail out of the throttle, but he's able to keep it together, keep it clean. It's a 3-on-2 battle. 3 on the high side, 2 on the low side, but Traylor is going to change that as he splits to the inside here of Isaac Smallwood. Looking for a big side draft off that 5 truck. He's going to get just that. Things getting really tight here as we get down into turn number 1. It looks like everybody able to find some room for each other. And again, it'll be coming to 12 laps to go now next time. So we're starting to get to that point too where you wonder if we're going to get a late race caution. We've got to get all the way to 1 to go before there will officially be no more cautions. So the race for the lead is starting to get heated up here as you saw Braden Avila tap the wall on entry, doing everything he can to get every ounce of grip and every ounce of speed that he can from that car. 5, Isaac Smallwood on the bottom, still with Bill Hills, David Traylor. Those two have been working together for a couple laps now. Toyota and a Chevy, maybe not quite what you expected, but it's been going pretty good. Outside of David Traylor, though, about every truck up here is a Chevy. Shows you the manufacturer dominance here tonight. And then Joe Yakes, who we were keeping an eye on, the gap between him and the leaders is currently about 0.9 seconds, so he is also within drafting range. It looks like he's actually going to tag on to this lead pack. Mark Beverly in a similar boat. He's a little bit closer to the edge of maybe not quite being in the draft, but we'll have to see if he's got enough. I think he just might. Further back, there's Keith Prince in the 3. As we go even further back, take a look at how some of the guys are doing towards the back of the field right now. Tell you who's had a pretty good recovery up to this point. We've actually had a couple of them, but the guy that catches my eye right now is Jonathan Herbert. He's up 6 spots from where he started, back into the 22nd position after getting involved in a couple incidents there early, more precisely an incident early, which cost him a lot of track position that he's been fighting to get back the entirety of the race. But the 88 machine looking good is, up front. Wow, a lot of tight racing there as we almost had a wreck. Oh my goodness. Bill Hales and Jay Stinson. I was calling it elbows out, but there may have been a little bit more than that. That was some significant contact. Let's back this up and take a look at how this whole thing develops right here. It's going to start with somebody making a mistake up top, at least it appears. And so if we go to the blimp cam, here's the view. Watch up top. There's Braden Avila. He is going to pull a slide job here in front of Bill Hills. He's able to make it work. Bill sees it, though, and is going to look for a crossover. And unfortunately, it looks like Braden gets into the wall. Bill, with too much momentum, follows him right in. They beat and bang a couple times, and then Stinson is able to drive by on the inside and misses it without any sort of contact. And now he's hoping he can pull away here for the next 10 laps. Looking at past winners from what we've seen and what we haven't seen. The one thing I feel like we have yet to see this season is a big underdog win. Still waiting for what track and who it's going to be, but as it stands right now, I think Jay Stinson's putting himself up for pretty good contention if we had that as an actual award. But 9 laps to go here now for Jay Stinson, leading at Auto Club. Not the first time he's been out front tonight, so he's got a little bit of an idea of what he wants to do. And it's a matter of can he execute it all to perfection. And we talked about what the points category was looking like here. Again, Isaac Smallwood, Mark Beverly, Eric Hegdahl, Joe Yakes, your 4 winners on the season. A couple of those guys have had some repeats, most notably Isaac Smallwood. That's why you don't see too many highlighted in green if you were to take a look at the points. But now going to be coming to 8 laps to go, and this is the point where you want clean air. When we talk about a track like Daytona or Talladega, you do not want to be leading on the last lap, but here you certainly do, as it's the best chance you have with the truck handling a lot better. And I think I'd like to be on maybe the front end of a slide job than the rear end. And man, David Traylor, we'll see what he decides to do here. You know he's hungry for a win, but he's going to keep it as clean and consistent as possible. He's going to try to get around Jay Stinson. He is able to do so. Just when you think Jay's starting to settle in nicely, all of a sudden, here comes David Traylor in the 54 machine out of nowhere. Joe Yakes as well. What an upset would this be? Not because Joe Yakes is so much of an underdog, but because of the strategy call that Joe Yakes will have pulled off if he is able to take this position. And again, he's got much fresher tires than a couple of these other guys, and he hasn't even been battling. He's been riding in line trying to catch up to this group. So I think that 87 might be the pick here the rest of the way, but he's certainly not going to be able to pull away, not with how strong the draft is here at Auto Club. And so now it's up to David Traylor, Jay Stinson, and Isaac Smallwood to get sorted out if they want a chance to go up here and catch this 87 truck. And it looks like Joe Yakes not quite able to get clear, so he chooses to stay on the bottom. He'll get a big push down the back straightaway there from Jay Stinson. And as they jump down into turn number 3, we're going to see a little 3-wide action again. Smallwood up top, David Traylor in the middle, and Joe Yakes on the bottom, keeping all the eyes and cameras up here right now, because this is going to be the battle for the win, ladies and gentlemen. But taking a look at how the 8 car is doing of Nicholas Lawrence. He is back in that 12th spot. He's up quite a few, over 10 positions from where he started this race at. But man, I mean, what in the world are we seeing up front right now with just all the different lead changes? I mean, you think that a guy comes up, he's got a great run, he takes the run all the way to the front, you say to yourself, okay, he's got clean air, now he's got a chance at it. And then just as we say it, seems like somebody else makes the move, then they've got clean air, and the cycle continues to repeat. And at what point you got to wonder, where does the winning move come from here? As we are now going to hit 5 laps to go in the winning bid 210 here. Again, next week we head to quite a different track, so anything you learn from tonight, you can erase it from your memory after because you're not going to be able to apply it next week. But David Traylor, man, I'm telling you, hopefully we can get a driver cam on this guy if he's able to win this thing because the emotions are going to show. I mean, he's been so close so many times, and he gets pretty pumped up about it, so he's still got to hold off the 5 of Isaac Smallwood, the 87 of Joe Yakes. Can't forget about the 2 out back who have been working hard as well. And how about what we're actually seeing here from a little bit further back? Mark Beverly looks like he has been able to potentially catch up as well now. Then you got Jay Stinson in that lead group as well. So if Beverly's able to get a little bit closer and hang on to the draft, it will go down officially, looks like, as about 6 cars all under a blanket and all fighting for the lead. And that is with 4 laps to go. If we can make it 3 more times to the white flag, this race will be official and we will crown a winner. However, if we see a caution in the next 3, then this race will have its first overtime restart here of the night. David Traylor still on the outside. It's been working well, and in fact, looks like he's been able to roll pretty good just about any lane he's chosen, and he hasn't quite wrapped the bottom. He hasn't ripped the top either. He's kind of running in the middle, running a similar line that you would if you were on the bottom. Whatever it is, he's figured it out. Ooh, Smallwood and Yakes get together down the front straightaway. You can tell that the grip level is starting to wear out, and drivers are starting to get anxious. Second time now, Smallwood has been within inches of disaster, but he saves it and continues on. And Joe Yakes right there probably got really nervous for just a moment. He may have thought his race was getting ready to be over in the blink of an eye. Smallwood, though, is not giving up on this. The problem, and just as we start to talk, caution is out. And this is going to change everything. The reaction on Traylor's face, I know you can't see it, but I promise you it says it all right now. He cannot believe that the caution just came out. And this is going to throw his strategy for a complete loop. We're trying to find exactly what it was that actually brought this caution out. I'll have to go back and take a look through the field to try to find that. So, again, this is definitely going to change up David Traylor's strategy here the rest of the way, but I think things will still work out for him. We'll have to talk more about that here after the pit sequence because you know everybody's going to be coming in here for tires. You just have to. They're too important. All right, so where did we have the incident at? Not too sure yet. We're looking for it. And not really seeing anybody with any major trouble. At least not up to this point. Oh, Colton Hardy. He looked a little slow there. He may have went for a couple of spins through the grass. In fact, that's exactly what it looks like happens here. That's going to be your result of the caution. All right, here we go. Take a look at the blimp cam. On the bottom, the 22 of Haas Beverly. Looks to me here like the 16 riding up top. The 22 starting to come up, and yeah, I got to think Haas just got really, really tight there, but Colton Hardy was there. There's nothing he can do, and he's going to go for a slide here, and a pretty wild one at that. Gets sent across the grass. Hoping to miss. This inside wall, barely touches it. So yeah, that's really interesting, honestly, that did bring out a caution because it looks like he was well off the racing surface, but again, as we noted, this is going to make things really, really interesting, especially in terms of strategy if you are a guy like David Traylor. Decide what he wants to do. I mean, I know he's going to pit. I guess there's a little bit of a debate, though, maybe on if you take 2 or 4 with a few laps, but I think you got to take 4. I mean, there's just too much grip lost over the course of the run that we've had to not. So I think that's what you're going to see end up being most likely the universal call. Take one more look here from TV Static. You see Colton Hardy get back rolling again. So as we go back live up front, everybody currently in the pits getting full service and fuel, and it's Clinton Woodby who's going to lead them all out. Tyler Beverly second, Eric Hegdahl third. Actually, that's going to shift a little bit. It's actually Isaac Smallwood in third. Tyler Beverly moves up to second. Kevin Winker fourth. David Traylor in fifth. Joe Yakes back in sixth. Bill Hills in seventh. Mark Beverly eighth. Ray Navila in ninth. And Jay Stinson rounding out your top 10. All right. Well, we are going to take what should be our final break of the night. But again, we are going to go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us to crown a winner here tonight at Auto Club. Back live for overtime number 1 at Auto Club. Here we go. Tyler Beverly looking for his first win. Isaac Smallwood looking for another one. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go. Good initial jump from Tyler Beverly. He's quickly able to get away on the bottom, but here comes Smallwood up top. David Traylor giving him all he's got in terms of a push. And this push may be enough to get him clear here. It's going to be really close. Further back, we're seeing some 3 wide, a lot of splitting going on. This is going to be coming to the white flag this time if everybody can keep it clean, but it is all going to be a 2-truck race. Traylor makes the move. He's going to dive to the inside. Smallwood's going to put it on his door looking for a side draft. He gets it. Smallwood expected to have the advantage here off of turn 4. He gets just that. Here we go. Going to be coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go at Auto Club. Wrecking in the back doesn't matter. This race is official. Can Traylor get his first one? Isaac Smallwood looking to add on yet another one. Smallwood's going to take the top. Traylor on the bottom. Joe Yates looking to make his way into the mix. There might be a 3rd lane here. Watch for the 87 here through turns 3 and 4. They're wrecking massive out back, but up front, final time down the backstretch. What does David Traylor do? No move just yet. Trying to get to the inside. It's not going to be enough. Traylor tries to slide through. Doesn't have the momentum. Off of turn number 4, Isaac Smallwood. He's going to add another one. He wins it at Auto Club. David Traylor brings home 2nd. Joe Yates rounds out the podium. What a series of racing we had right at the end. But he does it again. What a finish for Isaac Smallwood. Before he comes over here and celebrates, though, let's take a look at what your finishing results look like here on the night as everybody finishes up. By the way, we had a massive wreck on the last lap. We might have to go back and take a look at that. Collected a ton of trucks and changed quite a few of the results that you see here now. But it is Isaac Smallwood, your winner here tonight. Gets the job done for Mo Power Racing. David Traylor brings home 2nd. So close, but comes up just short yet again. Joe Yates rounds out the podium. Kevin Winker in 4th. Robert Dudley in 5th. Drayton Avila 6th with Evan Schilling in 7th. Haas Beverly 8th. Will Rainwell back in 9th. And Jay Stinson rounding out your top 10. Dennis Steele 11th. Eric Hegdahl in 12th. John Shilino in 13th with Clinton Woodby in 14th. Rick LePage back in 15th. Tyler Beverly 16th. Colton Hardy in 17th with Andrew Hansley in 18th. Michael Newman 19th. And Nicholas Lawrence rounding out your top 10. Jesse Calloway in 21st. Keith Prince 22nd. Dylan Pauls 23rd. Mark Beverly 24th. Bill Hills 25th. Brody Benty 26th. Michael Miller in 27th. Jonathan Herbert in 28th. Jesse Wise 29th. And Lance Thompson Rounding out your top 30, Thomas Saito in 31st and rounding out the field. Well, we didn't get to see too much of a burnout. Did a little bit of one, but did the thing he deserves to, and that is go over there and park it in victory lane because he is your winner here tonight. Isaac Smallwood, that is. We're going to go talk to him and the rest of your top 3. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Back live at Auto Club Speedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Joe Yakes. Joe, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How you doing?
Good. Well, you bring home a podium spot, and I'll tell you what, before we got that caution, was looking like you might have had the right strategy call, but nonetheless, a 2-lap shootout. How you feeling about the third place finish?
Man, I'm feeling really good. I mean, we started from the back today, tried to get some hard charger points, and pulled that off. We drove through the field and the stage, and then up there racing with those guys, and it tried a little tire strategy there, pit a little later, get the fresher tires, and thought I had a shot at them, but with those guys bump drafting the way they were, I just couldn't get enough of a run to clear them and get the lead there. But that was a lot of fun tonight. I love this place.
Yeah, it was certainly fun to watch, and one of the 2-mile tracks, one of the few 2-mile tracks that we head to during the season. But next up is the Lady in Black, Darlington. You can't really take much from here, but how you feeling about your chances there next week?
Oh, I love Darlington. I mean, Auto Club and Darlington are 2 of my favorite tracks, and we got them back-to-back. So I'm going to be bringing everything I got to Darlington next week. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like a plan. Well, hey, before we let you head out to celebrate your third-place finish here tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank my teammates, Jesse Calloway, Jesse Wise, Nicholas Lawrence. We were all hanging out tonight, having a good time, and I also want to shout out Progeny Esports. It's on the truck tonight. I will actually be hopping over to that channel in about an hour here for a broadcast myself. So if you guys want to check them out. And then, of course, I want to thank the Beverleys for putting on this great league. It's a pleasure to come out here every Friday night and race with these guys.
All right, and we appreciate you talking to us as well. Congrats again on the third-place finish. We'll see you next week at Darlington.
Sounds good. We'll see you next week.
All right, and now that is going to bring us to your second-place finisher on the night, David Traylor. And as excited as I am to say a second-place finish, I'm sure he's not too happy because, again, he comes up just a little bit short. David, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin.
Well, man, if you had one more lap, do you think the results would have been a little different?
Maybe. Fresh tires, it's kind of a wild card. I feel like I had one of the best trucks on the long run. Another lap, you never know. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. Like I said, another podiums, and it's kind of weird to be a little upset with second right now.
Certainly is, but I mean, nonetheless, we saw the strategy working out well. You talked about how good you were on the long run. Then we had that caution come out. You get the overtime start, and you still managed to bring home a second-place finish. And, next week we head to Darlington. It's a different track. There's a lot more technicality there. How you feeling about your chances?
Darlington's actually where I got my first podium last year. I kind of surprisingly run well there. I don't know why. I feel slow, but the results kind of show. So we'll see. I know Auto Club eats tires, and Darlington it meets even worse. So gonna have to get some practice in after tonight.
Certainly. Well, hey, I know it's maybe not what you wanted to hear me say, but congrats on the second place finish here tonight. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thanks to my teammates, Keith, Evan, Brody, and Rick joined us tonight. A little early trouble for them. It kind of ruined their race a little bit. Thank you to Mark and the Beverleys for putting this league on. I hope we put on a good show for you guys. I know the broadcast is always a great time to watch. See what maybe I was doing wrong there. Thank you to JC Newman. They're on the truck again this week. Some great cigars. I got a new partner coming aboard, Mushroom Top T. I should have a truck for him next week or so. And then thank you to my fiance out in the living room and my dad watching at home.
All right, and thank you for talking to us. Hey, we'll see you next week at Darlington so you can get win number 1.
Thank you, Austin.
All right, now that brings us to your winner here on the night. Isaac Smallwood tacks on yet another one. Isaac, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, the dominance is really starting to show. Road course, 1.5 miles, 2 mile. I mean, you're figuring it out on all these different tracks, but boy, you really had to work for it there at the end tonight. Break down those last couple laps and how you're ultimately able to hold off David Traylor.
Yeah, that, I don't know, it was about like 5 or 6 to go whenever I was pushing Trailer real hard there. I was content with running second or third. I don't think I was going to be able to get the run off the top because you had Joe down there running the bottom, getting a pretty good run down there with 6 or 7 lap fresher tires. And I was just pushing him, and then I got lucky with that caution. We put some 4 freshies on it, and I was able to get a good run there on the restart around the top and hold a pretty steady line there.
Certainly were a great finish tonight, and we've already seen you go back-to-back once this season. Do you think we maybe see it a second time with Darlington up next week?
Man, I don't know. I know we're on a really good run right here, right now, but Darling, it's pretty tricky, you know. We got to make some practice laps there and see what happens.
Sounds like a plan. Well, hey, before we let you head out tonight to go celebrate, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank my team over at Mopawa. I was there with about 30 laps ago. I was wanting to push Braden to his first win in the series, and unfortunately, he had about a minute's worth of damage there, and we just lost a whole lot of ground, and he fell back. But yeah, I just got to thank them too, Braden and Eric, and everybody else that helps out and supports me.
Thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the win. Go celebrate. You got the job done tonight, and we'll see if you can do it again next week.
Yep, and also thank you for the broadcast and Mark and them for putting this league on.
No problem. All right, that's your winner tonight, Isaac Smallwood. That's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Auto Club for the winning bid 210. Another great race. Looking forward to next week, what we've got in store at Darlington. Make sure you don't miss out on that one. That's going to do it tonight for me, Austin Green, here on Ghost Racing Network. I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for coming out, and until next time, have a good night.